Hello and welcome to Clearview Television. We are reaching you live from Nigeria's capital city, Abuja. First, the headlines. Alumni Association of Nigerian Universities plead with ASU to call off industrial action in the interest of the nation as government set up tactical review committee on no work, no pay policy. Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Regulatory Authority hints of oil price hike as much as 443 naira per litre after deregulation. Justice Hafsat Abdulrahman sworn in as first female chief judge in Adamawa State. I am Florence Joshua with this and more. A group of alumni associations of Nigerian universities have warned that the lingering strike of the Academic Staff Union of Universities could lead to disastrous consequences for the nation. In a letter on Monday, the group urged the federal government and ASU to come together and resolve the impasse. ASU has been on strike for more than 6 months. The academies are seeking improved welfare revitalization for public universities and academic autonomy, among other demands. One bone of contention for the academies is the non-payment of university revitalization funds, which amount to about 1.1 trillion naira. But the federal government has said it doesn't have the money to pay such an amount, citing low oil prices during the Muhammad Buhari administration. The association therefore called on the presidency to wade into the matter as a matter of utmost concern so that all contending issues are speedily and expeditiously resolved. On the other hand, the association is pleading with the leadership of ASU to sheath its sword and recall its members back to the universities as they have made their point. In a statement signed by Dr. John Momo, President Worldwide University of Lagos Alumni Association, Professor Ahmed Tijani Mora, National Chairman Conference of Alumni Association of Nigerian Universities for ABU Alumni, Professor Elsie Adowoye, President University of Ibadan Alumni, Professor Yakubu Aboki Ochefu, President University of Calabar Alumni, Pastor Nuhu Sani, President University of Jos Alumni, and Pastor Ule Williams Glad, President University of Port Harcourt Alumni. The body advised the lecturers to resume class in the interest and future of Nigerians. Meanwhile, the Minister of Education, Adamu, this Tuesday in Abuja met with pro-chancellors and vice-chancellors of universities as effort to end the more than 6-month-long strike. Adamu later told newsmen that part of the decisions reached at the meeting was the setting up of a tactical committee to review the federal government's policy of no work, no pay, which ASU has insisted must be set aside. Still on the ASU strike, the Academic Staff Union of Universities Gombe State Branch has rejected call for resumption of academic program by the management of the university. At a press conference on Monday, ASU chairman in university Suleiman Jauro said the institution benefited from proceeds of ASU strikes, including 57 physical structures of the 77 buildings on campus. The union also regretted that the ASU had lingered too long and pleaded with members of the public for understanding. The Congress further resolved to reject the call by the university administration for staff to return as the indefinite strike action called by the National Executive Council (NEC) is yet to be vacated. The union demanded the university administration to address the outstanding local issues, including non-implementation of the consequential adjustment in minimum wage to 30,000 naira with effect from April 2019, non-payment of arrears of the 2020 promotion, non-release of the 2021 promotion letters and implementation, non-payment of the outstanding earned academic allowances for the 2015 and 2016 session, among other pressing issues. Commandant General of the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, NSCDC, Dr. Ahmed Abubakar Aldi, has disbanded the anti-vandal units of the Corps across the country. Consequently, Dr. Aldi has directed the immediate removal of all roadblocks mounted by the anti-vandal teams. The disbandment followed allegations of complicity in the operation of illegal refineries and oil bunkering across different parts of the country. The NSCDC Commandant General handed down the directive in Abuja this Tuesday at a meeting with the Corps Commandants and top management team.
because there are insinuations that security agencies are involved as accomplices, and because we want to redeem the image of the service. And we have received reports that our officers in the field, are actually doing their job, but not to satisfaction. So the minister has directed that that department should be reorganized. And so for you to reorganize a department, you have to first and foremost dissolve it with a view, to injecting fresh blood, fresh individuals. Those who have served, especially in the Niger Delta area, for about 6 months, 1 year, are supposed to leave. Then we now put new people, because over familiarization, can make an individual to compromise.
The disbandment of the anti-vandal unit might not be unconnected to the recent viral video of 2 operatives of the NSCDC counting bulks of money in the office of one of their victims. In what looked like a tense mode, the female oil marketer brought out a huge amount of money from the drawer and a handbag and handed some money over to the 2 NSCDC officers, who from time to time checked the door for possible intruders. The officers thereafter tucked the cash in a big brown envelope before leaving the office. Oil marketers therefore lamented that efforts to curb the extortion have not been successful, as the NSCDC officials seem to enjoy backing from their bosses and authorities. The Christian Association of Nigeria has described as untrue claims that he had changed its position regarding the Muslim ticket of the All Progressive Congress after allegedly meeting its presidential candidate, Asiwaju Bola Tinubu. The organization also warned against politicizing the presence of Tinubu at the 70th birthday celebration of the Catholic Bishop of Sokoto Diocese, Reverend Matthew Kuka, in Abuja. The president of CAN, Daniel Oko, made this known in a statement by his special assistant, Media and Strategic Communication, Luminous Jana Mike, titled Muslim Tickets. CAN maintains its position. According to him, the event was public, and the friends of the celebrants and other good-spirited Nigerians donated to the building of the Kuka Center, which was designed to be a veritable platform to propagate and promote the ideals of democracy and responsible leadership through research and intellectualism. The statement read, "The attention of the leadership of CAN has been drawn to a media report titled, 'How Tinubu Met Resolved Muslim Tickets with CAN.' The statement said, to say the least, the story is ridiculous, malicious, untrue, and should be disregarded in its entirety by all reasonable members of the society. For the records, CAN took a position against the same faith tickets under the leadership of Reverend Samson Ayokule, its immediate past national president, and as a matter of fact, His Eminence Archbishop Daniel Oko stands on the same position." If the federal government plans to deregulate the Nigerian oil sector sales through in the next few months, Nigerians may have to pay as much as 443 naira per litre of premium motor spirits, PMS, otherwise known as petrol. And this is official. The Executive Director of Finance and Accounts of the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Regulatory Authority, Abiodun Adeniji, stated this before the House of Representatives Committee on Finance. Adeniji, who presented the agency's projections for the 2023-2025 medium-term expenditure framework, told the committee that between January and August this year, Nigerians' daily oil consumption stood at 62.9 million litres.
Expected open market price, because as of today, the subsidy still reigns, and we believe the deregulation will come up at one point in time. Based on an average of what, if deregulated, the price of petroleum, of PMS will be today, will be about 272 naira per litre. However, from our projection for the next between 2023 to 2024, our projections is that the open market price of PMS will go as high as 443.
Adeniji figures on Nigerians' daily oil consumption caused a stir among the House committee members, given the conflicting figures emanating from the numerous government agencies, including the Nigerian Customs Service.
You need to, we're not seeing synergy between the various agencies in the sector. So you need to work together. Let's have harmonized position, whatever it is that you're coming up in terms of report. It's not just about the volume now. There are a lot of reports that are not just aligning. So let's take it back home. You can, of course, like I said, we will do our own bit, but you also have a role to play.
Recall that only last week the Custom Controller General Hamid Ali had made it clear that based on records of fuel importation, the claim by the NMPC that the country imports an excess of 38 million litres of petrol daily was not true. The 5-day national workshop on safe transport of and radioactive sources in the oil and gas manufacturing and construction industries for land and marine transporters has ended in Abuja City, with a call on partner ministries, departments and agencies, MDAs and major stakeholders to always be carried along in the review of the nuclear policy regulations in the country for such laws to be sustainable. Our correspondent Nkiru Obuli now brings us highlights of the closing ceremony.
The workshop, organized by the Radiological Safety Department of the Nigeria Nuclear Regulatory Authority (NNRA), also saw the validation of draft Nigerian radiation safety regulations, such as Draft Nigeria Basic Ionizing Radiation Regulations 2022, Draft Nigerian Transport of Radioactive Materials Regulations 2022, and the Draft Nigerian Radioactive Waste Management Regulations 2022. In his remarks, the Director General of the NNRA, Dr. Yao Usman Idris, who was represented by the Acting Director General, Adebayo Nasiruddin Bello, commended the staff and management of the NNRA as well as stakeholders for their painstaking efforts and contributions throughout the duration of the workshop. He also stressed the need for consistencies in the regulations while also highlighting the importance of involving supervisory agencies.
We wanted us to come here to look at everything, including all the T's, the commas, and the full stop, so that everybody can accept that, yes, the regulation is in the right perspective and that it has been reviewed vis-a-vis the IAEA standards, the various IAEA standards. And I also know that that position has been taken, and it's going to be corrected in the affected regulation. We have to be consistent because we have to appear to the public in a unified manner, so that there is not what the lawyers will call a lacuna.
Thereafter, the group representatives from the breakout session earlier in the week, which comprised of the library, transport and waste management, took turns to give their reports. Resource persons, transport stakeholders and representatives of partner MDAs commended the NNRA for organizing the workshop, which they described as timely as well as immensely beneficial to their agencies, with the representative of the Minister of State for Petroleum Resources adding that the recommendations will be adopted without delays.
On behalf of other transporters, we want to thank the NNRA for giving us this privilege, this opportunity. I want to also assure you that we'll do all we can within our reach to keep the compliance going and keep the flag flying.
On behalf of the Minister of State, Minister of Petroleum Resources and the Permanent Secretary, we assure the participants and NRA in general that all these drafts we assure they are now become regulations. Whatever it will take us, if we want to go to the National Assembly to regularize them, we will do same. That is our assurance.
It's been a very successful workshop, no doubt. The first session was on workshop for the stakeholders. That was on Monday, Tuesday. That was quite successful. Then as from Wednesday to now, we broke into sessions, and we did justice to the draft regulations. And from the presentation, you could see that every group was painstaking in checking everything. I'm sure by now these regulations are virtually ready for enactment.
There is need for enlightenment to be given to our staff so that they will be able to know there are various radiation concentrations, so that they will be able to know the ones they can give to the patients and the ones they should protect themselves against. It's a lot of hazards if you don't understand and you expose yourself to it. It can lead to cause a lot of diseases and sicknesses which we do not want to have for our staff.
High points of the event was the presentation of the event as documented and certificates of participation to the resource persons and participants.
At the end of the day, we are hopeful that before the end of the year, the regulation should be ready from Justice and will be passed to Mr. President for final signing and approval.
If you're just joining us, you're watching the news on Clearview Television, and when we come back, we bring you stories on women and children. Stay tuned.
The news continues now with stories from our area of specialization, women and children. After the main transmission of our news, we rebroadcast on our YouTube page, Clearview TV. Do you operate a women or children's NGO? Are you at the helm of affairs of a government establishment or a corporate organization involved in the affairs of women and children? Then you are our partners in progress. We have a mission to better the lot of our women and children. Join us to celebrate womanhood and work assiduously to better the lot of the Nigerian child. This is our mission.
Welcome back. The 21st century woman is more than a housewife and a homemaker. She has over time evolved to become a major player in key sectors such as politics, business, social enterprise, public policy, the corporate space, and the creative sector, to mention a few. Redefining what leadership and excellence mean. In the first part of this report, Clearview TV's Gloria Atta takes a look at some Nigerian women who have been excellent in their fields and are making waves across the globe.
Throughout history, women, like the men, have made significant strides in changing the world. They have done so with conviction and confidence, even amidst certain daring challenges. Today, Clearview TV beams the spotlight on two women who have succeeded and emerged as unstoppable giants, thereby giving hope and purpose to the younger generation. Top on our list today is Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, the current Director General of the World Trade Organization, WTO. Okonjo-Iweala was appointed to the enviable position in March 2021. An economist, fair trade leader, environmental sustainability advocate, human welfare champion, sustainable finance guru, and global development expert. She is also the first woman and first African to lead the World Trade Organization. Okonjo-Iweala also sits on the boards of top companies and organizations such as Standard Chartered Bank, Twitter, Mandela Institute for Development Studies, Carnegie Endowment for International Peace, Georgetown Institute for Women, Peace and Security, Global Alliance for Vaccines and Immunization, Rockefeller Foundation, and so on. The brilliant economist had a 25-year career at the World Bank in Washington, D.C., United States of America, and rose to become a managing director at some point. Having broken many records in the course of her illustrious career, Okonjo-Iweala was the first woman to serve 2 terms as Minister of Finance in Nigeria. She was initially appointed by President Olusegun Obasanjo from 2003 to 2006, and secondly, under President Goodluck Jonathan from 2011 to 2015. From June to August 2006, she served as the country's Minister of Foreign Affairs. In recognition of her contributions, Euromoney named her Global Finance Minister of the Year in 2005. In June 2020, President Muhammadu Buhari nominated Okonjo-Iweala as the country's candidate for the post of Director General of the World Trade Organization. After an intriguing process, she was named as the successful candidate for the WTO top job on February 15, 2021. The appointment of the financial expert as DG WTO was well received by Nigerians, many of whom started an Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala challenge on social media, depicting her Afrocentric dress sense.
If women are to make progress, men must also learn to open the way. Men play a critical role in whether women make progress or not. And I often advise women, if you're seeking mentors, don't only look to other women, also look to men. As at now, they are controlling a lot of the places where women cannot get into. And I want them to hear this message. You need to get out of the way a little bit so that women can have a chance.
Another powerful Nigerian woman making waves across the borders is a diplomat, politician, and current Deputy Secretary General of the United Nations, Amina Mohammed. Amina Mohammed was Nigeria's Minister for Environment from 2015 to 2016. During that time, she was Nigeria's representative on the African Union Reform Steering Committee, chaired by Rwandan President Paul Kagame. She later resigned from the Federal Executive Council on February 24, 2017. Later that year, the United Nations Secretary General, Antonio Guterres, announced his intention to appoint Amina Mohammed as Deputy Secretary General of the global body. In this capacity, she is a member of the UN Interagency Coordination Group on Antimicrobial Resistance. From 2012, Mohammed was a key player in the post-2015 development agenda process, serving as the special advisor to the then UN Secretary-General Ban Ki-moon on post-2015 development planning. From 2014, she also served on the Secretary-General's Independent Expert Advisory Group on the Data Revolution for Sustainable Development. Mohammed later became the founder and chief executive officer of the Center for Development Policy Solutions and an adjunct professor for the Masters in Development Practice program at Columbia University, USA. In 2005, she was charged with the coordination of Nigeria's debt relief funds towards the achievement of the Millennium Development Goals. Between 2002 and 2005, Amina Mohammed coordinated the Task Force on Gender and Education for the United Nations Millennium Project.
Working for the United Nations makes me a global citizen and a really proud Nigerian. Every day, Nigerians in the house, every day I strive to serve humanity, ensuring that the voiceless can truly live a life of dignity. However, I wouldn't be here today without the love and inspiration of my mum, Margaret Wilson.
Though a conservative dresser, Amina Mohammed is also meticulous when it comes to her looks. She always appears modest but well put together, and that has earned her the admiration of many, both male and female. Clearview Television celebrates Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala and Amina Mohammed for their outstanding role in positively impacting the political and business environment and for being a source of pride to women and girls all over the world. Gloria Atta, reporting for Clearview Television.
The first female chief judge in Adamawa State, Justice Hafsat Abdulrahman, has formally been sworn into office. At the swearing-in ceremony on Monday at Government House, Yola, Governor Ahmed Fintiri was emphatic that Nigeria will only become a better place for the enthronement of the rule of law if the nation's judiciary enjoys full autonomy as guaranteed by the 1999 Constitution as amended.
The Adamawa State government has appointed Justice Hafsat Abdulrahman as the acting chief judge to head all judicial matters of the state. Her swearing in by the state government came after the state chief judge, Justice Nathan Musa, retired during the early hours of Monday. Governor Fintiri, who congratulated her on attaining the level in her career, admonished her to discharge her duties devoid of sentiments and corruption.
And urge you to see your elevation as a call to service. I urge you to be guided by your calling and be fair and impartial in your decisions. I charge you to shun corruption and conduct yourself in ways that will inspire the confidence of members of the public in the judicial system.
In a response, the Chief Judge Hafsat Abdurrahman thanked the state government for the confidence reposed on her and promised to deliver.
I pledge to discharge my duties and perform my functions as the acting Chief Judge honestly, in accordance with the dictates of the judicial oath I've just subscribed to. Our Constitution is based on the doctrine of separation of powers between the three arms. In this regard,